Hi, how are you? I just got off of work. It's been a good day. Easy day. And I hope if you work today it was smoothly. If you're about to go to work, then I pray it goes smoothly for you. And if you're not working, then I hope you just had a wonderful, good, and blessed day. So, I guess I want to talk a little bit more about my story. Well, how I started. So, the first person that took care of me my entire life was, well, not my entire life, but the first person who took care of me was my grandmother, or great grandmother. Ironically enough, my biological mother, who was in her mid-20s, it was speculated that she opted for an abortion, but her mother, my biological grandmother, was against it. So, I don't know how that worked, but God put me here. So, that's all that matters. And I'm not sure if my biological mother did much with me as a child, but I can probably guess is my great grandmother, who was the one that did most of the work. But her other daughter, who is my mother, she and my father wanted a child, but they couldn't have one biologically. But my mom was told by a member of her church, and that member told her that she was going to have a child regardless. So she believed in that. She believed in what God told her. And lo and behold, they adopted me. And they are wonderful parents. They really are. They might not love as much or in the way that most people may see love, but it's there to me. And I'm truly grateful and blessed to have them. Especially up in their age. They're going to be 70 soon, both of them. And I'm not even 30, but I do thank God for having them in my life, and I'm sure they are just as thankful to Him for allowing me to be part of their lives. So it's a really nice blessing all throughout. So I was adopted by them, but I was still pretty much close with my great grandmother, who is now my adopted grandmother, and I will be referring to her as the grandmother as such. And you know how when you're a child, you just think that the person that you're with is just like the best, and you can't see anything wrong with them. No, that was me. I grew up thinking that my grandmother was just an amazing person and all this stuff, and she had the heart. She had a heart, a caring heart, and she did things for people. But she was very negative, and I can never see why. She passed in April of this year, and I had read a book sometime back of someone that my parents knew, and he pretty much said that people who are more positive and grateful about life, they tend to live longer. Not all the time, but they tend to live longer. My grandmother lived up to be 89 years old, but she just seemed so negative and sad about the world and upset about the world. She just had this narcissism or narcissistic behavior that stemmed down from her childhood, And it pretty much affected the rest of the family, like a generational trauma, if you will. And I don't know why she wanted to keep on to the past of people who've done her wrong, or trying to be like she was the victim of a lot of stuff. I just don't know why she did that. And most of my family, up until that point, who've known her for years, have stopped talking to her constantly because of that. But even when I started to figure out stuff, I still have that caring heart. And so I continue to love on her, do things for her, see her constantly. And I've always have. And I had a feeling her death would hit hard for me, but the way that she died, it was kind of heartbreaking. Basically, the way that she died, she didn't have to die in the manner that she did. She was put in facility homes that she didn't need to be in. And I've tried to she was in there because my biological mother, my grandmother, had raised her as well. And so she let her be the name of everything instead of my mom. I don't know why, but I have pleaded with her to do certain things, but she didn't listen to me. And so now things just happened the way they were, and I was upset with her. And she even tried to get in contact with me, but I could tell that the bad traits that my grandmother had, she has them as well. And I know that no matter what I would say, it wouldn't go through to her. And I ended up choosing not to rekindle with her. But that doesn't mean I didn't love her. And this is when I knew I was getting closer with God. Because there's this thing called unforgiveness. And you might think if you're at peace with something that you're good, but that doesn't mean that you're actually good. Not in God's eyes. Especially not with the Holy Spirit. Because if you feel convicted and you feel like, oh, I feel like I didn't do something right, that's the Holy Spirit that's telling you, hey, you didn't do this right. And ironically enough, I've been seeing videos and all this stuff about forgiveness. And I'm like, yeah, I was upset at what my biological mother did. But I forgave her. At least I thought I did. And when I looked up the old text messages, I realized, oh, I did not forgive her. So I said her just 3 things. I said that I love her, I'm sorry, and I forgive you. And I didn't hear anything back from her. I don't expect to hear anything back from her, but I got that out, and I meant that. And from that point on, the amount of peace I received in my mind, in my spirit, and my soul, it was just amazing. And I know it hurts. Holding on to something hurts, especially when someone did you wrong, but at some point you have to realize you just gotta forgive. And sometimes it could have been something that you did and you didn't even know it. So always just forgive, ask for forgiveness, and if they accept your forgiveness, that's great. And if you guys can rekindle whatever, go for it. And if you can't, that's fine. But you got that out there. You ended off on good terms. And if that person decide not to connect with you, that's not your fault. You did your part. Just continue to live your life the best way that you can. Pray for that person and just have peace. And, hopefully that person that did you wrong, or you felt you did them wrong and are asking for forgiveness, maybe, hopefully, God willingly, they'll turn back around. If not directly to you, then with themselves. Because that's also a thing. You need to forgive others and forgive yourselves. And I guess that was on my mind. And we'll talk later. Have a good day.